We are now moving to our submission from Ngati or Maahanga Trust, and joining us online will be Nesca Heitapu Bowlin.
Tēnā koutou e te komiti, ko Nesca Heitapu Bowlin aho e tūnei hei māngai mō Ngati o Maahanga Trust. I am speaking today on behalf of Ngati o Maahanga Trust, the mandated representative entity for our hapu, Ngati Maahanga. Ngati o Maahanga Trust is unwavering in its commitment to uphold the mana and aspirations of our hapu, ensuring the intergenerational well-being of our people. We represent over 5,000 registered members, but our reach extends far beyond this to all who whakapapa to Ngati Maahanga. We stand firm on kingitanga principles of mana motuhake and the exercise of rangatiratanga over our hapu, our whenua, and our taiao. Ngati Maahanga categorically opposes the Treaty of Waitangi Principles Bill in its entirety, and we have provided a written submission detailing our opposition, and we ask that it be taken as read. However, I wish to submit additional points before opening up for your questions. Ngati Maahanga stood beside the late Māori Queen, Te Atairangi Kahu, in the historical settlement of Raupatu confiscated land. The Crown acknowledged the injustice and offered an apology, and this was formalised by Queen Elizabeth's signing of the Raupatu Settlement Act of 1995, and she'd done that in person. But this bill is a vast departure from the settlement-based two sovereigns' understanding of te tiriti. Yet our journey is where justice is not complete. Ngati Maahanga has outstanding claims as part of the Waikato Tainui remaining settlement claims and the marine and coastal area maka claims for Whaingaroa Harbour. The enactment of this bill will seriously jeopardise the resolution of these claims. It undermines the foundational principles on which these claims were historically based, threatening the protection of tino rangatiratanga. The bill creates a double standard by applying different principles between proposed legislation and the Waitangi Tribunal. And this inconsistency leads to further inconsistencies between the historical settlement, any current settlements, and any future redresses yet to be made. Codifying these principles restricts the interpretation and limits the adaptability of te tiriti as a living document central to Aotearoa's constitutional framework. This bill failed to uphold the promise of te tiriti to protect tino rangatiratanga of Ngati Maahanga. By prioritising Crown sovereignty, it distorts te tiriti's foundational principles and relegating Ngati Maahanga rangatiratanga to a secondary status. We strongly oppose the bill's referendum. A matter of constitutional significance cannot be reduced to a majority vote, which marginalises Ngati Maahanga voice. This bill, both in its content and in its proposed enactment processes, undermines the mana of te tiriti o Waitangi. It erodes the constitutional relationship between Crown and us, Ngati Maahanga, as your treaty partners, risking division and harm between Māori and Crown relationships, not only in the Waikato, but across the motu. This bill is before the Select Committee because Prime Minister Luxton prioritised coalition policy over our constitutional obligations. The regulatory impact statement reported that broader approaches to te tiriti and our constitutional arrangements were not even considered. Why? Because they did not align with coalition commitments. This exclusionary process disregarded te tiriti obligation in favour of a predetermined coalition approach. Furthermore, the Ministry of Justice confirmed that this rushed and constrained process resulted in significant analytical gaps, undermining the legitimacy of this legislative process. Critical issues were not thoroughly examined. I'm going to list 4. First of all, the bill is built on untested assumptions, such as the notion that Māori ceded sovereignty, the debate between equality versus equity, and the interpretation of treaty versus treaty. These assumptions polarised Aotearoa and hindered our progress towards constitutional arrangements. Secondly, this bill did not test or even assess consequences. There was no comprehensive investigation of the potential and unintentional consequences of this bill. Thirdly, there was no effort to engage in genuine consultation with Ngati Maahanga as your treaty partners. Rather, we have been relegated to participate in a select committee process. The absence of true partnership demonstrates the lack of good faith of this bill. It's severely undermining this process's legitimacy. Fourth, and last of all, the bill was narrowly defined. It did not even consider how tiriti could be given effect beyond the principles framework. We urge the Select Committee to recognise the serious flaws in this legislative process, including the lack of consultation as us hapu leaders. We recommend that no coalition agreement should ever interfere with constitutional matters. In closing, in his final koro nei hana last year, Kingi Heitia reminded us we must be in kotahitanga if we are to move forward as a nation. I'll open up to any questions.
Kia ora, Nesca. Thank you for your submission this afternoon. We've got a question there from Pūhana Linden.
Tēnā koe e te rangatira o tira tēnā koutou Ngāti Maahanga. I'm at Te Matatini and can have and you might be able to hear Te Kahurangi bellowing out behind me. So we've got Waikato Tainui proud on stage. Ngāti Maahanga is the Te Treaty partner with the Crown, and you have clearly articulated the way that you have felt undermined on behalf of Hapu and iwi in terms of the lack of consideration for the relationship between iwi Māori and the Crown by being relegated to being just a mere submitter amongst the general populace of Aotearoa, New Zealand. What recommendations can you give to our committee in terms of a truly genuine te treaty relationship with Hapu and iwi of Aotearoa to find a genuine way of, I guess, engagement moving forward on legislation, that it isn't just left for this Westminster system, that there is something that is bespoke and unique to Aotearoa that we could hanga ourselves in terms of how we move and creating laws in this country?
Yes, great question. Thank you very much, because I think it goes to the heart of the matter. If we are actually in good faith with the Te Tiriti o Waitangi and the obligation, there should be true partnership. And true partnership is not participation, because that word in alone has a lot of things that need to be unpacked with that. But consultation is another step. So it needed to be consultation before it was even drafted. Needed hapu leaders to come in and inform and to help in the decision-making process. So we could have stepped in and offered many other alternative solutions rather than just whittling down and reducing to a reductionist view three principles that have not actually been assumption tested. So, we could have fed into that and jointly come up with solutions. In fact, I do believe that our hapu and many iwi leaders did participate in what we gather could be alternative for constitutional arrangements. Mātiki Mai offers 3 different alternatives. We were not prescriptive as this bill is. This bill has been prescriptive. We offered a range of alternatives as constitutional arrangements. We did not hem in and demand from our treaty partner. We offered multiple solutions. Those solutions were rejected. Hei aha, back to the drawing board. This bill is not the vehicle to be having this type of conversation. And so, our submission was very clear. We strongly oppose this bill and reject it, and then it needs to come through a different forum. So I hope that I don't think I've given any insight because I think that every single hapu will want what Ngati Maahanga want. We want a seat at the table. We want those conversations. We've got great ideas. You might not like them, but we've got great ideas.
Thank you, Huhana, for the question. Thank you, Nesca. Look, thank you for your submission this afternoon. We do appreciate you taking the time late in the day to present to us and to be with us. So just want to acknowledge that and just thank you on behalf of the committee.